there's an extremely urgent aspect that I want to relay. When I left the Philippines in 1987, I was then a faculty of University of the Philippines, Los Baños. The population of the Philippines was 57 million. Now, as far as I Googled it, there are several values, but at least what I found out is our population is right now 119 million. That's a lot. Since I left the Philippines, our population doubled. And not only that, the average age of Filipinos or Filipinas is 26 years old. We are a very, very young nation. But you know what the average age of farmers are? 57 years old. It's pretty ironical. I know I'm speaking to a university environment right now. Central Luzon State University, one of the top-ranking agricultural universities in the nation. Despite several Philippine universities offering agriculture, let me reiterate, the average age ng ating magsasaka, 57 years old. Matanda na. In short, walang youth na nag-i-engage sa agriculture. The Philippines, right now, we know it, we read it, is the top importer for rice, beating China. The Philippines imports corn, wheat, pork, beef, chicken, fish, vegetables, and fruits. Philippine farmers are aging. Let me just give a scenario. Supposing there's war. Supposing countries do not export to the Philippines. We know we are importing rice in India, in Vietnam. What will happen to us? We don't know. 57 years old ang average ng ating magsasaka. Most of us are going overseas. So we will starve. We have a very, very serious condition right now. We're still eating because we can still import. But what if we can't import anymore? That's why we need to do something with our food systems in the Philippines. How do we engage youth in the food systems is extremely urgent number one issue we need to resolve. That's why I'm excited about the topic, because I believe engaging youth in this new agriculture this new agriculture will interest youth to engage in the food systems. Notice I call it the food systems, not agriculture, because this really is a systems environment. This is a food systems we're dealing with. Extremely urgent. Number two, how do we grow food today? This is a picture I lifted in the internet. This is a beautiful rainforest in the Philippines. And a lot of our rainforest has been cut. As far as I could read in the internet, our forest in the Philippines is just 3%. Our Philippine rainforest has been replaced like this crop over here. Probably most of you could just imagine, isn't that sad? An extremely biologically diverse environment has been replaced by this crop, and look at the erosion. And mind you, this is real. I went to this area in, I think, 2014. I took these pictures. As far as your eyes can see in Mindanao, I saw it, I rode through it, and it is sad. I am sort of like crying because our rainforest is gone. And it has been replaced by this crop known as pineapple. And I can go to the store, walking distance away from me, from where I live right now in North Carolina. I can still get a pineapple clearly made in the Philippines at the expense of the degradation of our soil and natural resources so that I can eat pineapple. That is a fact. And I could buy a can right now of pineapple. You know what this is? See that area over there? That's in Cagayan de Oro. That area, what are these buildings? These buildings is a plant of Del Monte. Precisely the pineapple I can buy across the street. It's a made in the Philippines Del Monte pineapple at the expense of our natural resources, because this is the old traditional agriculture, which results in irreversible soil loss. Not only will we have a huge problem, but we will have no more soil to grow our food. If that data is true, which I believe is, we've already cut our forest. We have 3% left. We will have irreversible soil loss and no more soil to grow food. Destruction of marine habitat is happening right now as we speak. Of course, it's going to be a La Nina. We'll have intense rainfall. And what will happen is massive soil erosion, and the coral reefs of the Philippines were in beautiful marine habitat, were in the fisher folks of our beloved Philippines have their livelihood. Tourism have their livelihood. Erosion will occur in those marine habitat, destroying the beautiful paradise known as the Philippines, one of the top biodiversity hotspots in the world. Is this happening right now? Precisely. It is happening right now. That's why I'm very passionate in speaking to you at this moment. Growing food traditionally, if we continue doing the growing of food the way we're doing it right now, in 20 years, the Philippines' natural resources will be gone. Not only will we have a youth problem, we will have a soil problem. Our soil health will be devastated. And probably you're seeing it in Nueva Ecija. How much fertilizers are you applying right now in our palay production system, in our rice production system? So the FAO released this book, Save and Grow, in 2011. Ang tagal na, no? Ang tagal na ni-release yung book kasi FAO finally realized that the Green Revolution will not work. It fed the world, but it's degrading our natural resources. It's like mining our natural resources. So pinag-asawa nila, kailangan pang magpatubo tayo, isi-save din natin ang natural resources. Hindi na pwedeng grow and grow. Hindi grow at the expense of natural resources. That's what we were doing before, and that's still what we're doing right now. We're depleting our natural resources, period. So saving resources and growing food are inseparable. Mag-asawa yan. Kailangan yan ang magiging approach natin. Pag magre-research kayo sa CLSU, pag ang mga magsasaka, gagawa ng mga kani-kanilang production system, kailangan makikita nyo, you need to save resources while growing food. Not only that, actually you need to regenerate resources. That's why the term regenerative agriculture became popular, because our soil health is already degraded. Hence, we need to have production systems that will grow food, continue to grow food, but at the same time regenerating our natural resources. Wala na tayong choice. If we do that, magugutom tayo, period. Pag nagutom tayo, mag-aaway-away tayo, magkakagulo ang mundo. This is something that I will continue to repeat because it is a very, very serious problem. Kumakain kayo ngayon dyan, kumakain ako pag nag-attend ako ng conference, of course. Pero there will come a day, pahirap na ng pahirap ang pagkain. So, it is not an R, it is actually an is, because the two should be one. Save and grow is one. Save and grow is inseparable, just like my wife and I are inseparable. When I made a covenant with Lorna in marriage, we are one, period. So that's Lorna and Manny are inseparable. We made that covenant to God, and we will keep that covenant. We need to be a faithful couple. So is saving and the growing of soil. Is save and grow doable? This is the next topic right now. Pwede ba natin gawin ito? And my answer is yes. I'm very, very optimistic. It's doable pag magtutulong-tulungan tayo sa Pilipinas. Ang dami na nating PhD sa Pilipinas. I traveled all over the world. Pag nakikita ko, tas nakipag-interact ako sa several state universities and colleges sa Philippines, grabe ang capacity natin. Our capacity to do good through the universities grabe, nakikita ko yan, kitang-kita ko right before my eyes, kasi I can see how many PhDs do you have in CLSU. I've been working in the Royal University of Agriculture in Cambodia. Sadly, you know, they have been decimated because of the Khmer Rouge during the Civil War, or their knowledgeable people were killed during the Khmer Rouge. That's why we are a very, very blessed nation. We need to unite as a nation and unite in the production of food and unite in transforming our food systems. Yes, the Philippines can save and grow. We can save and grow. And how can the Philippines save and grow? My response, actually, it's a very general term, regenerative agriculture. Within regenerative agriculture is a component known as conservation agriculture, which I want to emphasize at this aspect. Conservation agriculture, I call it as a new agriculture, but actually it's not. But in the Philippines, very, very few, if not, it is not practiced. Sadly, I have looked in the Philippines. Please, if you can see places there that conservation agriculture is practiced, when I describe it, we need to grab that. We need to grab that location and scale it up immediately, because conservation agriculture marries again, pinag-iisa ang enhancing ng soil health at saka ng production ng food. In other words, hindi tayo magugutom, we will continue producing our food, tapos pinapaganda pa natin ang kondisyon ng ating lupa. So what is conservation agriculture? Ito ang conservation agriculture increases yield while enhancing soil health. Let me reiterate that. It increases yield while enhancing soil health. In other words, panalo-panalo yan. If we learn, it is science proven that I could not have the time, but science clearly show that this is doable in terms of the scientific angle, in terms of the application angle, kasi may social aspect, may value chain aspect, that will be may machinery aspect, that will be the challenge. Pero pag nagtulong-tulong tayo, we can increase yield. At the same time, enhancing soil health. That is a wonderful, optimistic view of agriculture. And the youth will get interested in this because it involves their future. It involves the future of the Philippine nation. We need to enhance our soil health. There will come a point again, di na tayo makaka-import ng rice. It is very sad. Ang ganda ng Central Luzon, no? We can be resilient, and we can be we can be rice sufficient. What is conservation agriculture? There are three components. If one is missing, it is approaching conservation agriculture, but it's not conservation agriculture. So this is the fundamental definition of the FAO. I sort of like tweaked it a little bit so that we could understand it, or I could understand it better. Ang unang-una, these are all pictures in Cambodia. Minimum soil disturbance. Permanent no-till. Surprising kagad, no? Sa mga magsasaka dyan. Hindi na tayo mag-aararo. Period. Permanent no-till, minimum soil disturbance, kasi kaya pag tinanim mo yung halaman, di ba? Kailangan mo mag-seed drill dyan. Madi-disturb mo yung soil. Pero we will discourage tillage. As much as possible, we will not till, because the tilling destroys the soil. And I will not have the time to explain to you the science while tilling destroys the soil. So conservation agriculture means minimum soil disturbance. Immediately, paano na yung mga makinaryo ngayon? Kailangan kayo magpalit ng makinarya. Kailangan tayo magbago ng makinarya. Yung mga makinarya natin pag-aararo, kailangan palitan natin yon. Kanya nga, yun ang magiging challenge natin. At the same time, as Dr. Marvin relayed, they will start experimenting on this and rice. So while you're experimenting sa rice on permanent no-till in rice, hindi biro yan, ha? Hindi madaling makamit yan. Pero kailangan natin kamitin. We have to approach it. The second one is permanent soil organic cover, hindi plastic, no? Yun yung organic soil cover dyan. Nung nag-uumpisa ko ng engineering, ang tinuturo sa akin sa engineering klase ko, ay araruhin nyo ng gusto yan. Pag may residue sa ibabaw, pangit tignan. Ngayon, baliktad ang natutunan ko. As much as possible pala, yung mga ninunuhan natin, kailangan hindi wawalisin. Hindi wawalisin yung residue. Because the residue is the food of the microorganisms. Kanya kailangan may permanent organic soil cover ang lupa. Period. That's the second principle. Pag ang lupa nakakakita ng araw, ibig sabihin kailangan damitan ng lupa. Organic soil cover is ayan ang damit ng lupa. Kanya kailangan damitan natin ng lupa. Kung hindi si lupa, magiging unhealthy. Kamukha rin natin. May mga damit tayo, di ba? Kasi kailangan natin maging healthy, kailangan natin i-protect ang sarili natin. Ganon din ang lupa. Ang damit ng lupa ay organic soil cover. Number 3, diversification of species in rotation, sequence, or associations. In other words, may crop rotation, hindi palay mais ngayon, mais bukas, mais hanggat makikita ng mata ko, kamukha nung kapinyahan na nakita nyo sa Mindanao. As far as your eye can see, pinya. Tapos, pinya pa rin bukas. Pinya pa rin susunod na season. Namatay na si pinya. Na-harvest na si pinya. Pinya pa rin. Isipin nyo yung sakit na dinadala ni pinya. Nagpipiesta na yung mga bakterya, yung mga insekto. Kasi pinya. Makikita mo sa mata mo, pinya. So, ano mangyayari sa kumakain ng pinyang insekto? Dadami sila. Yung mga microorganisms sa lupa, dadami sila. Dadami sila kasi puro pinya. So, anong gagawin natin? I-spray natin. Pag in-spray natin, anong mangyayari sa natural resources natin? Masisira. Yung mga tubig ng ating magsasaka, yung mga tubig ng ating mga communities mapupulyot. So, we need to stop this. We need to have a diversification of species. Hindi puro rice. As far as your eye can see. Kanya nga, this is the new agriculture. This is a very challenging agriculture. But we have no choice. Let me repeat. Permanent no-till, permanent organic soil cover, diversification of species. Yan tatlong yan, kailangan magkakasama. Kung hindi siya conservation agriculture, it will work. Ang isang proof ko lang, yung gubat ba? Yung gubat. Inaararo ba natin ang gubat? Tanong ko sa inyo, kung inararo ko ang gubat, papayagan nyo ba ako? Sabihin nyo, sira ulo ko, di ba? Yung gubat, anong damit ng gubat pag tinignan nyo? Di ba ang damit ng gubat, yung iba't ibang klaseng puno? Yung iba't ibang klaseng bushes sa ilalim? Di ba palaging covered yung gubat? Pati yung ilalim niyan, ang dami niyang mga organic matter. Mga nahulog ng mga dahon. Hindi naman natin inaalis at binawalis yung organic matter, di ba? Pinababayaan natin sa gubat, ganun siya nilikha ng Diyos. Tingnan nyo, yung healthy na rainforest, iba-ibang tinanim ng Diyos dyan. Different kinds. And it is an equilibrium. Hindi siya nade-degrade. Ang agriculture, bakit iba? Kanya kailangan kopyahin natin ang gubat. Kung paano hinilikha ng Diyos ang gubat, ganun kailangan ng management natin sa food systems natin. Sa production natin ng food systems. Paano gagawin ito? Magtulong-tulungan tayo. Alam ko yung theory, hindi ko alam ang mga detalye ng paggawa. Marami pa tayong research, pero yung mga magsasaka dyan, kailangan na natin umpisahan. Tingnan nyo rito sa Cambodia. Itong lupa sa kaliwa, wala na yan. Bigyan nyo ng oras yan. Kamukha nung picture kong pinakita sa inyo earlier. Patay na yung lupang yan. Unhealthy na yan. Alam mo kung ba't naging soil health? Noong nag-umpisa ko ng ag-engineering, wala kaming term na soil health, no? Kasi ang soil sa amin, hindi yan buhay. Ang soil sa amin, hindi buhay. Ang soil sa amin, kailangan ko i-manage ang erosion. Kanya ako nag-ag-engineer kasi nakikita ko ang problema natin, land degradation. Pero hindi ko alam ang problema pala natin, yung health ng soil. Pag puro mais ang tinan nyo dyan, anong microorganisms ang tutubo dyan? Puro yung microorganisms ng mais. Mawawala ng diversification. Ang lupa, ang isang teaspoon ng lupa, mas malaki, mas marami pang microorganism sa buong population ng mundo. So ang isang teaspoon ng lupa, Ang galing ng Diyos. Iba't ibang klaseng microorganism ang nilagay ng Diyos. Pero kailangan may pagkain yung iba't ibang klaseng microorganism. Kung puro mais ang ilagay mo dyan, ang kakainin ng microorganism, yung ugat lang ng mais. So puro yung microorganism sa mais, ang papasok din sa lupang yan. Papayat ng papayat yung lupang yan. Kanya lang naman, nakakapagpatubo tayo kasi sige-sige lagay natin ng artificial fertilizer dyan. Hanggang napakamahal na ang paglagay ng artificial fertilizer, alam ng ating mga magsasakayan, ang mahal-mahal na, hindi na pwedeng mag-produce. Kahit ano pang gawin ng ating presidente ng Department of Agriculture natin, mahal na ang production system. Kahit ano pang subsidy ang ibibigay ng gobyerno dyan, mahal na ang production system. Namamatay na yung lupa. Pero tingnan nyo yung naging healthy soil dito, no? Nag-regenerate yung soil sa kanan. Nakita nyo ba yung organic matter sa ibabaw? Parang carpet. Pwede ba talaga ito gawin? Yes. Ginagawa na ito sa Cambodia. Nakikita ko yan kasi I've been in Cambodia for 14 years. I saw how this grew in Cambodia. Kanya ang suggestion ko sa inyo, please, kung susulat kayo ng proposal, makaka-arrange ako ng bisita sa mga farmers of Cambodia. Nag-uumpisa na kami na large-scale angle sa Cambodia para mangyari ito. Ito, medyo large-scale na to. Makinarya na yan, ano? Pero alam ko marami tayong challenges. Pero kailangan natin harapin. Wala na tayong choice. Pag hindi natin hinarap, patay ang lupa natin. Wala na tayong choice. Magugutom tayo. Yun ang choice natin. Mag-aaway-aaway tayo kasi gutom tayo, tayong lahat mag-abroad. Yun tayo maiwan sa Pilipinas. Tapos mag-i-import tayo ng pagkain dahil galing perang abroad. Pero hindi tayo kaya mag-produce ng pagkain. Anong gagawin natin sa pera kung hindi natin kaya produce yung pagkain natin? Kung wala nang gusto magbenta sa atin ng pagkain. So kailangan maging seryoso tayo rito. Ito, healthy soil. Again, we're copying the forest. No? Tingnan nyo kung gano'ng ka-healthy yung production system dyan. That was taken in Cambodia. To see is to believe. No? Magbibigay ako ng picture sa Pilipinas. Magbibigay muna ako ng picture sa Cambodia. Tingnan itong production system to. No-till ito, Early maize followed by cassava. Ito yung Cambodian scientist. He's one of the best Cambodian scientists sa conservation agriculture. If we could get him to the Philippines, malaking bagay yan, ano? So ito, finger millet and sunhemp, nagtanim muna sila, kinrimp nila yan, in other words, in short, pinatay, hindi inararo, tinanim si cassava. Tumubo si cassava. Soybean after sorghum. So, nagtanim ng sorghum, nakita niyo yung residue napakakapal na yan. Sorghum yan, ikinrip o pinatay si sorghum, tinamnan si soybean under a seed drill, no-till seed drill, tumubo si soybean. Ang ganda ng tubo ni soybean. Maize with pigeon pea. So si mais, magbubulok na, nagtanim siya ng pigeon pea in between. No-till yan, hindi inararo. Tingnan niyo yung tubo ng mais, nung pigeon pea. Ang ganda. Ito naman, farmer field of maize in Battambang. So namatay si soybean at para sa inyo, yung residue niyan si soybean, tinanim si mais in a no-till environment. Ito naman, dry season cassava after early maize. Tinanim si mais, pinatay si mais, hinarvest si mais, tinanim si cassava under a no-till environment. Tingnan nyo ang savings yan. Hindi ka na mag-aararo. Isipin mo, yung mga magsasaka dyan, hindi mo na hihintayin. Tatanim mo na yung halaman. Tatanim mo na yung buto. Itatanim mo na yung cassava stems, yung stalks. So hindi ka na mag-aararo. Hindi pa laking savings ng time yan. So sa vegetables, pwede ako mag-enumerate pero I don't have the time to enumerate it in vegetables. Ang dami nating savings in time. Tapos tataba pa si lupa. Pagtaba ngayon ni lupa, syempre, mas reduce ang use natin ng artificial fertilizer. Or in other words, we will focus and finally approach organic agriculture production systems. Ito yung makinarya, no? Let me just show to you the machine. Ito, one passing. So, si mais, kinrim. Kita niyo yung crimper dyan. Kailangan natin ng makinarya. I have a proposed solution for that. I don't have time. Nakita niyo si mais. Kinrim. Diba? Nakita niyo yung planter sa likod. Tinanim. Yan ang no-till production system. Tapos, may planter sa likod. Kinrip. Tinanim sa likod. Tapos. So isipin nyo ang advantage yan. Pag nagawa natin ito sa Pilipinas, and I'm 100% sure, there are so many skilled Filipino farmers and engineers, we can do this in the Philippines. We have the skills, we have the capacity to do this in the Philippines. Tingnan nyo nangyari, ang ganda ng tubo, di ba? Sowing maize on green cover of sorghum, diversity, di ba? Anong tinanim? Maize, sorghum, Junsia, coffee. Mais ang tinanim doon sa tatlo. Pinatay si sorghum, si Junsia, tsaka si coffee. Zero herbicide, ha? Unti-unti niya nagsasucceed yung research namin sa Cambodia. Zero herbicide. Tumubo si mais. Nakita niyo yan? Ganyan kakapal yan. Nakita niyo? Sorghum, Junsia, and coffee. Anong gagawin mo dyan? Ikikrimp mo. Kita mo, kinikrimp. High flexibility sowing, anytime rolling. Kita nyo yung crimper nasa harap, no? Pag sinabi mong crimp, papatayin mo sila. Puputulin mo, babaliin mo, pero hindi mo puputulin. Babaliin mo lang. Kasi pag pinutol mo, hihipanin ng hangin. Babaliin mo lang para nakakabit pa rin siya. Ngayon, mamamatayan. Pag namatayan, kita nyo, pinutol na, di ba? Rolling, zero herbicide. Actually, nagsasucceed na dire-diretso ng tanim. May mga experiment na kaming dire-diretso ng tanim nung buto. So ito yan. Rolling first, sowing anytime. So pwede mong i-roll. Pag sinabi mong roll, kinrimp mo. Sa ating term yan, pinatay natin, pero pinatay natin, binali natin. Tapos, no-till yan. Hindi mo na yan aararuhin. Isi-seed-drill mo yan. Tatanim mo na yung buto. Pag tanim mo ng buto, tingnan nyo yung weed control nito, no? Hindi ba napakaganda ng weed control niyan? So, mababawasan tayo ng gamit ng artificial herbicide. So, siyempre, nagpapakita ko ng mga idea at pictures. Pero it can be done. I saw it. It can be done. We will be able to do it. Kanya lang, it will take time. Kasi learning curve to. Kanya yung magsasaka natin, yung mga farmers dyan ngayon, yung magsasaka, umpisahan na natin aralin itong sistemang ito, no? Aralin natin to. Wala ulit tayong choice. Now, El Nino, tingnan nyo, meron bang storage ng tubig dyan? Of course. Ang evapotranspiration yan, ang soil evaporation yan, ang baba. In fact, marami kaming cases, mga 15 to 20 days ang tinatagal ng tubig sa lupa. Pag nag-seed drill kami, yung mga farmers na under conservation agriculture, mas sumisibol yung kanilang mga buto kesa dun sa mga farmers sa katabi na hindi conservation agriculture kasi yung lupa nila tuyong-tuyo. Inararo nila eh. Eh ito hindi mo inararo. Kanya yung lupa niyan sa ilalim, basa. Relatively basa, mas resilient siya sa drought. Mas resilient siya sa El Nino. With control, drought resilience, tingnan nyo itong picture na to. To see is to believe, no? Tingnan nyo sa Cambodia. Nagiging father source ito, no? Ang practice sa Cambodia, sa palay, no? Sa bigas, rain-fed ito, no? Rain-fed agriculture itong lugar na to sa province of Battambang. Nakita niyo yung around it? Naka-fence yan, ano? Tingnan niyo yung residue sa labas. Tuyo, di ba? Tuyo yan. Ang practice ka dito, pagka-harvest ng rice, no? October, i-harvest ng rice. I-release na yung mga baka dyan. Kakain na yan. Kakainin nila yung residue ng rice. Kasusunugin yan. Yan yung common practice doon. So, yung in-experiment namin, nagtaming kami ng stylo, centrosima, 20 tons per hectare of fresh organic matter. Kita nyo, berding-berde. Ano nyo ba yung nangyari dyan? Ang nangyari dyan, dahil no-till, di ka man nag-aararo, di ba? So, nung hinarvest yung rice, nung October, no, di ka na nag-aararo. We stowed. Binroadcast namin yung buto ng centrosima para sa green manure. Pag medyo basa-basa pa yung lupa, binroadcast mo yung buto, dahil hindi ka na nag-araro, hindi mo naman pwede araruhin yun, di ba? Tutubo ngayon si buto. Lalalim ngayon ang ugat niyan. Malapit ito sa lake. So habang bumababa yung water table ng lake, hinahabol ng ugat yung tubig. Kanya pulang green na green. Yung lugar, pwede ang pagkain ng baka, pwede rin siyang maging fresh organic matter source. So kinikrimp namin yan, tapos tinatanim yung susunod na rain-fed palay. Pwede rin siyang ipakain ulit sa mga baka. So titignan mo, nagkaroon ng use ngayon yung lugar na tuyong-tuyo dito. Nagkaroon siya ng use because of conservation agriculture. Kasi nga hindi ka na nag-aararo. So the surrounding field is brown and dry. Note, this is 80% sand. So tingnan mo, no? 80% sand. So ito yung mga broadcasting fodder, legumes, and grass on rice. Kita niyo yung tubo ng rice. Ito yung pinakita kong picture. Nakita niyo to kung paano namin kinikrimp. May crimper sa likod. Ito, hand tractor ito, no? Walking tractor. May crimper sa likod, tapos may seeder. It will be followed by a seeder, no? Tapos makikita mo to, kita mo kung gaano kakapal yung organic matter. So makikita natin yung crop, how healthy it is. Kasi nga maganda ang moisture regime. So conservation agriculture with trees. Si Dr. Jun Mercado was supposed to talk to you today. He's one of the best knowledgeable person sa conservation agriculture sa Pilipinas. So seek Dr. Mercado. Please link with him. Visit the Conservation Agriculture with Trees Center sa Claveria. Sariling atin ito, no? Sa Claveria. So I took these photos in May 29 when we were writing a proposal for USAID. This is the photo of the Conservation Agriculture with Trees Center. Bago pa to naging center, no? Panaginip lang namin ito. Itong itsura ng lupa. Wala na yung lupang yan. Tapos na yan. It's a depressing prognosis. Tapos na yung lupang yan. Kahit ano pa ang gawin mo dyan sa lupang yan. Lugi ka na dyan. It's depressing. Kita mo nga, wala na. Wala na yan. Sa Mindanao yan, ang ganda-ganda na. Pero because of land degradation, wala na yung lupa. So John was trying his best. Paano kaya natin mabubuhay itong lupang ito? Paano kaya natin mabubuhay itong lupang ito? That was 2009. Paano kaya natin bubuhayin itong lupang ito? Wala na. Degraded na nga eh. Yung siya nga sa kanya nga nanggaling yung picture na pinakita ko sa inyo kanina nag-erode sa ocean ng Cagayan de Oro. Yung mga lupang nadidegrade sa Claveria eh. Kinuha niya yun dun eh. So it's degrading. Nagtatry siya ng agroforestry. Pero it's hard. So ito, depressing prognosis, no? So ngayon, how can we possibly produce food and control soil erosion in this marginal and degraded sloping land, no? So we can control land degradation and still grow abundant food in Mindanao. It is very possible. And to me, the best is just to prove it to you. To see is to believe na lang, no? This is the transformation after 5 years. Nung conservation agriculture with trees. Ito yung transformation, naglagay siya ng Iraqis Pintoy under conservation agriculture, hindi na mag-aararo. Tinanim niya si corn, ito yung tubo ni corn. Nung una nahihirapan si corn, syempre experiment din namin ito eh. Funded ito ng USAID during that time. Partnership ng World Agroforestry Center at saka ng North Carolina A&T State University. So, yung nasa kanan, ito yung tilled plots ng corn. Nasa kaliwa, yan yung no-till conservation agriculture plots under a permanent mulch called Iraqis Pintoy, yung mani-mani. Tawag natin si mani-mani, ano? So ito, very depressing prognosis. That's the plot. Very invigorated. Pati yung mga manok, gustong-gusto si Iraqis Pintoy. Kasi dami nilang nakakain dyan, ano? So, ito yung mga possible na mangyayari pagka nag-move tayo forward. Pero again, this will involve a lot of focus on our part and investment on our part. But it will pay off. It will be a long-term investment. I believe the French has been in Cambodia since 2004. It's 20 years na, no? But I think we can accelerate it kasi Cambodia is a Southeast Asian nation. Dami na silang production system doon na matututo tayo na pwede natin i-apply sa Pilipinas kahit sa lowland rice. May mga production, magtulong-tulong na tayo sa Cambodia, no? Sa aspect na to. So, the transformation after 5 years, nakita nyo to? That was 2009, May. I took this picture. This is 5 years after, nakita niyo yung transformation, it became an agroforestry system. Producing, may rubber dyan, may banana dyan, may corn dyan, iba't ibang klaseng production system. Nagiging tourism area na yan, farm tourism area. So ang daming nabuhay. In other words, kanya nga regenerative agriculture eh. Binuhay natin yung lupa. So ito yung soil erosion control ni Dr. Mercado, no? Oops. Ito yung medyo I'm running out of time. Ito yung soil erosion control ni Dr. Mercado. Ito yung bumisitang soil scientist sa proyekto namin. Tinignan niya yung, hindi niyo hirap na hirap sumibol yung mais. Ganyan talaga yan. Siyempre, mahirap, may competition eh. Hirap na hirap sumibol si mais, pero sumisibol yan. Continuous mulch, diverse species, sisibol yan. So sumibol si mais, yan na, sumibol na si mais. Sumibol na si mais, 2013 yung litratong yan. So nakikita niyo yung growth ni mais ha, compared dun sa tilled system kanina, no? Ito yung tilled system ha, side by side yan, no? Ito yung no-till system. Ito yung tilled system ng mais. So, ito yung mga data ni June. Data ng experiment namin, no? Yield-wise, yung mais, 8,478. 2 crops per year. Farmers practice maize monoculture, 5,790 kilograms per year. Ang cost, 1,821, mas mura sa no-till kasi hindi ka na nag-aaral at saka mas konti ang mga inputs mo. Ang kita, halos 9 times more, no? Yun yung data. Ang ganda ng data. Siyempre, experiment yan eh. Pero pag-apply niyan sa farmer, kahit anong pakita ko sa farmer niyan, si farmer mahihirapan mag-apply niyan. Yun ang challenge natin. Mapuprove ko sa inyo mag-work, pero yung challenge, paano natin gagawin sa lowland rice yan? Alam ko yung science yan. Matuturo ko sa inyo yung science, pero yung practice yan, mabibigay ko sa inyo yung principle. Pero yung practice niyan, yung magsasaka dapat ang gagawa niyan, katulong na rin ng CLSU. Kanya excited ako sa research ni Dr. Marvin, no? Kasi sa water management yun. Ang ganda ng prospects ng water management, ng conservation agriculture because of the retention of soil moisture. Makakatipid tayo ng tubig, patubig sa ating rice production system kasi mariretain yung moisture because of the mulch. How to do it? Yan ang challenge. Pero kailangan natin gawin. So ito si Dr. Mercado, no? We can control soil erosion and still grow food in Mindanao. May cacao na siya dito. Nakita niyo yung cacao? Nakita niyo yung rubber tree? Expertise niya, no? Agroforestry system, no? Sloping land, control ng erosion. Ito yung production system na nire-recommend namin, 30 meters spacing. Andun yung agroforestry system. This is in sloping land, no? Kailangan natin i-combine. Remember, conservation agriculture, diversity of species. So ito, diversity of species yung ginagawa namin dito, no? 30 meters ang spacing na nire-recommend namin kasi yun ang naging nung research namin, no? Trees, 30 meters spacing. Tapos ito, no? Ito yung rubber trees ni June. Rubber trees ni June. This was taken like 2013 o 2014. Mga around 10 years ago, no? Ito yung Iraqis Pintoy. That's why I want you to, if you could visit the CAT Center of Dr. Mercado, no? It will be a good aspect on upland lights production using conservation agriculture with trees. It's a TESDA accredited conservation agriculture with trees learning center, no? So this is tree. So titingnan nyo yung trees. Nakikita nyo, ito yung pinakita ko sa inyo, marginal land, di ba? Ang ganda na ngayon, no? These are the trees. So meron tayong hope, no? There is hope. A degraded land transformed into a biologically diverse or regenerated system that can produce food. Photo taken in 2013, 4 years after I took the photo of this being a marginal land. So, makikita natin dito, ito ngayon yung latest photograph na pinagdala sa akin ni June, ano? I wish I had the time to collect more of the photographs of his production system. Nakita niyo yung manok sa ilalim? May manok sa ilalim, may cacao dito, nakita niyo kung gaano kakapal yung mulch sa ilalim? Controlled ang erosion dyan. And Dr. Mercado, as far as I could tell, I've been asking him, he's earning money na dyan. Sa aspect niyan, organic agriculture production system na siya as much as he can do it. As far as I know, no?
That's why I would love for Dr. Mercado. He was invited, kanya lang hindi ro maganda yung internet connection niya sa Claveria. Because we were talking and messaging each other, no, regarding coordinating what we're going to talk about. So excellent solution is conservation agriculture with trees. The foundation of conservation agriculture, minimal soil disturbance, permanent soil cover, crop diversity. Ito, nanggaling ito kay Dr. Friedrich. Nakuha ko to, I met Dr. Friedrich, I got this slide from him, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. Siya yung isa sa mga principal authors ng Save and Grow. Sabi niya, Manny, passionate ako dito sa foundation na to. Minimum soil disturbance, soil cover, crop diversity. On top of that, kasi naalagaan na natin ng lupa, naging healthy si lupa, diyan na papasok ang organic agriculture, pollinator, sustainable mechanization, and so on. But until we work on the foundation, hindi tayo mag-move forward. So Save and Grow, I am recommending highly, go to Netflix and watch the documentary Kiss the Ground. It gives you a very, very good perspective on the new agriculture. And I sincerely believe we have an initiative for K-12, so that the youth, in partnership with the Southeast Asia, with CIRCA, no? Southeast Asia Regional Center for Graduate Studies in Agriculture, we're encouraging the youth to get engaged in regenerative agriculture plus biodiversity enhancement. Kanya nga yung programa namin ng CIRCA sa school garden sa eskwela, we call it mahaba, ano? School plus home garden, that's the food system part. Kung biodiversity enhancement enterprise. Iisa yan. Pagsasama-samahin natin ang biodiversity enhancement, food systems, which is agriculture, at saka enterprise. Kailangan kikita sila. Hindi natin sila pwedeng hiwalayin. Iisa sila. So yan ang objective ng school plus home garden, SHIGB, para ma-educate natin ang youth. Ang youth magiging interested. So K-12 pinapasok namin yan. But please watch Kiss the Ground, Conservation Agriculture Works. And in that, I will end my talk. Are there any questions? In order to grow, agriculture must learn to save. Thank you.